Today, we are creating the most evil, most ridiculously overpowered character in the history of One Piece. A character so broken, so terrifying, that even Luffy, yes, even Gear 5 Looney Tunes Luffy would get stomped into the dirt. But before we get too crazy, let's throw in a couple of ground rules, just to make things a bit more challenging. First, we can only pick from villains. No heroes, no heart of gold nonsense, just pure evil energy. Second, only one trait per character. Alright, now that everything is in place, let's start by choosing our character's race first. Here we have a lot of options to choose from, like giants, humans, fishmen, buccaneers, and many more. But the one I am most interested in is King's Lunarian race. You see, Lunarians are described as a race of gods with inherent powers. Their key traits include immense durability, capable of withstanding powerful attacks, even those enhanced with haki. This durability is linked to the flame on their backs. While lit, they are nearly invincible. They can also manipulate fire, creating flames hotter than regular fire, basically like magma, perfect for offense and defense. Oh, and let's not forget their black wings, which give them the ability to fly at high speeds. They can even snuff out their back flame for a speed boost, though that does lower their defense for a bit. So for race, I choose King's Lunarian race. Well, we are just getting started, and if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let's keep going. We talked about race, but what about strength next? When we think of strength, the first character that probably comes to our minds is Big Mom. And honestly, can we blame ourselves? Her strength is absolutely monstrous. But here's the catch. I've got someone even better. No, even the best when it comes to strength. Rox D. Zebek. You see, Rox was the captain of the Rox Pirates, a crew widely considered the most formidable pirate crew to ever sail the seas. What truly cements his spot at the top of villainous strength is the caliber of the individuals who served under him. This crew included younger versions of future Yonko, like Edward Newgate, Charlotte Linlin, and Kaido. Not to mention, other legendary pirates like Shiki the Golden Lion, Captain John, and Wang Ji were also part of his crew. The fact that Rox could lead such a volatile group of incredibly powerful individuals who were known for their clashing personalities speaks volume about his overwhelming power. It's safe to say he was likely the strongest among them at the time. The most compelling proof of Rox's strength comes from the God Valley incident, which took place 38 years before the current storyline. It's repeatedly stated that it took the combined efforts of Marine hero Monkey D. Garp and the Pirate King Gold D. Roger to take down Rox D. Zebek and dismantle his crew. This temporary, unprecedented alliance between two of the absolute strongest figures in that era just goes to show how immense Rox's power truly was. Neither Garp nor Roger could beat him alone. While we still don't know the full extent of Rox's individual abilities, his leadership of a crew of future legends, and the fact that it took Roger and Garp together to bring him down solidly establishes Rox D. Zebek as a villain of unparalleled strength in One Piece history. So for strength, I choose Zebek. Next, we need to give our character someone's durability. Alright, let's cut to the chase. Here, we're going with Kaido's durability. You see, Kaido, also known as the strongest creature in the world, has some insane durability in One Piece. One of the most insane testaments to Kaido's toughness is the fact that he's tried to end his own life multiple times and failed every single time. The guy's been captured and sentenced to execution 19 times, and there have been 40 execution attempts against him, and not one of them succeeded. Kaido survived falling from a sky island 10,000 meters high, landing with just a mere headache and nothing major. Throughout the Wano arc, Kaido tanked hit after hit from some of the strongest individuals. Regular armament haki barely made a dent. Even with Gear 3 and Gear 4 punches from Luffy and attacks from the Red Scabbards, Kaido's defense was practically unbreakable. It wasn't until Luffy mastered advanced haki that he even landed a decent hit. And even then, Luffy himself said the damage was too shallow. Not only that, he fought for days against Big Mom without tiring. The first real damage we ever saw him take was from the battle against Kozuki Oden, a legendary samurai wielding 2 of the 21 great grade blades, Enma and Ame no Habakiri. That's when he finally got a scar. And let's be real, if it weren't for Gear 5 Luffy, there's absolutely no way anyone could have taken down Kaido. So for durability, I choose Kaido. Next, we need to give our character someone's speed. Okay, first things first, when we talk about speed here, we mean raw speed, not devil fruit enhanced stuff like Kizaru or Enel. So when it comes to raw speed, there's one villainous character that stands out the most, and that is none other than Captain Kuro. You see, Kuro's signature move, Nukiashi, also known as Stealth Foot, lets him move at superhuman speeds by rapidly kicking the ground multiple times in an instant. The result? It looks like he's disappearing and straight up teleporting. In an SBS, Oda revealed that Kuro can run 100 meters in just 4 to 5 seconds, which roughly translates to 25 meters per second or about 55 miles an hour. His speed was so overwhelming that even early Luffy couldn't handle it directly. Luffy had to rely on sensing Kuro's movements just to land a hit, which really shows how hard it was to even see him coming. So for speed, I choose Captain Kuro. Now it's time to give our character someone's intelligence. Here, we've got two characters to choose from, York and Don Quixote do Flamingo. So let's break it down and see who fits better for what we need. First up, York, one of Dr. Vegapunk's 6 satellites, embodies greed and inherits her intelligence from Vegapunk's genius mind. Even though she's driven by pure desire, she showed sharp cunning by betraying the other Vegapunks and manipulating Egghead's security systems. She orchestrated a complex plan to control the Seraphim and outsmart the world government, aiming to become the sole Vegapunk and even a celestial dragon. York's intelligence leans heavily towards scientific genius, tactical planning, and cold-blooded survival. Now, when we shift over to Doflamingo, things change. His intelligence plays out on a way bigger, more strategic level. Doflamingo is a master manipulator, a criminal genius, and somebody who deeply understands the world government, the celestial dragons, and the entire criminal underworld. He patiently orchestrated the downfall of the Riku family over years and built a global black market empire. Holding titles as both a warlord and a fallen noble, he exploited political systems effortlessly. Through fear, manipulation, and deception, he controlled Dressrosa's citizens, his crew, and the underworld itself. His knowledge of world secrets, possibly even the hidden truths of Miri Joie, gave him massive leverage. So, which character's intelligence are we going with? You see, while York showcases impressive scientific and tactical brilliance, Doflamingo's mind operates on an entirely different level. Political strategy, criminal empires, manipulation of global structures. His moves reshaped kingdoms and shifted the balance of the new world itself. Unlike York's contained betrayal, Doflamingo's schemes had worldwide consequences, proving he has the superior strategic mind. His ability to dominate both in the open and from the shadows makes him an easy pick for us. So for intelligence, I choose Don Quixote do Flamingo. We talked about intelligence, but what about battle IQ next? Here, I've got one character in mind, and that's none other than Shiki. You see, Shiki the Golden Lion, also known as the Flying Pirate, is the admiral and helmsman of the Golden Lion Pirates. He's also a former member of the Rocks Pirates and the first known prisoner to ever escape from Impel Down. And it doesn't stop there. After breaking out, Shiki was able to remain hidden from the world government for a whole 20 years, pulling off a feat that required serious craftiness and resourcefulness. Shiki was one of the very few pirates bold enough to face Gold D. Roger directly, even gathering a massive fleet to try and take him down at the Ed War. Decades past his prime, Shiki was still dangerous enough that Garp and Sengoku had to step in personally to deal with him, wrecking half of Marineford in the process. So, to sum it all up, Shiki ranks extremely high in battle IQ. He's got the military genius, global scale ambitions, ruthless creativity, and combat adaptability, putting him among the smartest and most dangerous villains in One Piece history. So for battle IQ, I choose Shiki. Next, we need to give our character some swords. Well, why settle for just one sword when we can give two to our character? The first sword we're going with is Mihawk's Yoru. Now, before anyone jumps in saying Mihawk is a good guy because he trained Zoro and all, hear me out for a second. Mihawk is known for not having any clear alliance to either the Marines or the pirates, making him a morally ambiguous figure. As a former warlord of the sea, he was grouped alongside figures like Crocodile and Doflamingo, pirates who caused chaos purely for personal gain. So, if we look at it from that perspective, we can definitely consider Mihawk here. Now, Mihawk's sword Yoru is one of the 12 supreme grade swords. That alone puts it in an elite category, representing the pinnacle pinnacle of quality, craftsmanship, and raw power. Only a few swords in the world share this rank, including Whitebeard's Murakumo Giri and Gold D. Rogers' Ace. On top of that, Yoru is a Black Blade, a title given to the swords permanently imbued with haki through countless battles and the will of the swordsman. That transformation is extremely rare and makes the weapon even more durable and deadly. As for the second sword, we're going with Shamrock Sword. You see, this saber has been infused with the power of an awakened mythical Zoan-type Cerberus devil fruit, giving it the ability to transform into a three-headed dog. Not only that, each head can even wield a blade from its mouth. Even Loki, known for his insane strength among the giants, was afraid of getting stabbed by one of those blades. While we don't have much info on it yet, the fact that Loki feared it says enough about its power. So for our two swords, we're choosing Mihawk's Yoru and Shamrock's Cerberus sword. Next, we need to give our character a pure evil mindset. Now, mindset, that's what truly makes a villain terrifying. Not just power, not just strategy, but a mind so cold and ruthless that it feels like evil itself. So when it comes to giving our character the darkest, most heartless mindset, we've got to go with the most hated character in One Piece, Akainu. You see, the most infamous display of Akainu's merciless mindset was during the Ohara incident. Even though the world government had only ordered the elimination of the scholars, Akainu took it a step further. He obliterated an evacuation ship full of innocent civilians, including women and children. Why? Because there was a chance a scholar might have slipped on board. In his eyes, even the slightest risk to the mission, erasing all knowledge of the Void Century, was too much. But his brutality doesn't end with enemies. Akainu is ruthless even toward his own men. During the Marineford War, he straight up killed a fellow Marine who tried to flee the battlefield, seeing it as disgraceful cowardice that could undermine Marine morale. He even attacked Kobe for begging to stop a war, a kid just trying to save lives. But to Akainu, mercy is weakness and hesitation is treason. Well, not much to say here. Let's go with Akainu's mindset here. Next, we need to give our character a devil fruit. To be honest, we've got a lot of overpowered devil fruits to choose from, but the only one that truly stands out, and the one I'm most interested in giving our character, is Enel's Goro Goro no Mi. This Logia-type devil fruit is so broken that even Nico Robin once stated it's one of the few powers that could be considered invincible. At its core, the Goro Goro no Mi allows Enel to generate, control, and become pure electricity, with an output reaching a staggering 200 million volts. That's enough to fry almost any opponent on the spot. But what really makes this fruit terrifying isn't just raw power, it's the versatility. Enel can move at lightning speed, literally letting him cover huge distances instantly, strike from unexpected angles, and dodge attacks with ridiculous ease. Good luck landing a hit when your opponent is electricity, and it doesn't stop there. His control over electromagnetism lets him melt, reshape, or weaponize metal, as seen when he modified his staff and manipulated gold. His fruit even boosts his observation haki, or mantra as it was called in Skypiea. By sensing electromagnetic waves, Enel could perceive movements and even conversations across the entire island of Skypiea, granting him a form of pseudo-omniscience and allowing him to predict attacks with high accuracy. His devil fruit also grants him unique abilities, like allowing him to restart his own heart if it stops, a crucial ability that saved him during his fight with Luffy. So for devil fruit, I choose Enel's Goro Goro no Mi. Next, we need to give our character all three forms of haki. Well, before moving ahead, let me clear one thing. I won't be taking Shanks anywhere here. I know many of you feel he might secretly be a villain and all, but until it's officially confirmed, he's a good guy in my eyes. So let's focus on characters that truly fit the villainous vibe we're building here. Armament haki first. For this, why not choose Virgo? You see, Virgo, a high-ranking officer in Doflamingo's crew, is an excellent example of the raw power and mastery of armament haki. His signature move was coating his entire body in armament haki, something incredibly rare even among top fighters. During the Punk Hazard arc, Virgo's armament haki allowed him to dominate opponents like Sanji and Smoker, showcasing not just insane defense, but also monstrous offensive power. He could also imbue his bamboo staff with haki, making it incredibly hard and capable of inflicting serious damage. While his full-body haki was eventually overcome by Trafalgar Law's superior haki and Ope Ope no Mi's abilities, the sheer scale and density of Virgo's hardening at the time made him a benchmark for armament haki users. Now moving on to observation haki. The obvious pick here is Katakuri. You see, Charlotte Katakuri, one of the Big Mom Pirates' sweet commanders, is renowned for his exceptional mastery of observation haki, specifically the advanced form known as Future Sight. He was the first character explicitly shown to have this ability, which allows him to see a few seconds into the future. Now when it comes to Conqueror's Haki next, here I'm choosing none other than Big Mom's Conqueror's Haki. As one of the rare few born with this power, Big Mom can crush the wills of those weaker than her with just her spirit. We first saw her using it at Sanji and Pudding's wedding, knocking out a guest just for questioning her relationship with Mother Carmel. But that's nothing compared to what happened when her portrait of Carmel was destroyed. She unleashed a horrifying wave of haki and screams, wiping out most of the party guests around her. Later, during her clash with Kaido at Onigashima, their Supreme King haki literally split the heavens. Big Mom is also among the very few who can use the advanced version of Conqueror's haki, infusing it into her attacks, causing that signature black lightning that signifies a whole different level of power. So for haki, I choose Virgo, Katakuri, and Big Mom. Now it's time to give a special ability to our character. For this, I'll be choosing Blackbeard's special ability to consume 2 devil fruits. With this, we now have to choose 2 devil fruits to give our character. For the first devil fruit, I'll be giving him Fujitora Zushi no Mi. You see, this Paramecia-type devil fruit grants its users the ability to create and manipulate gravitational forces at will. The user can increase or decrease the gravitational pull on objects and individuals, allowing for a wide range of offensive and defensive techniques. They can pin opponents to the ground with crushing gravitational pressure, making escape nearly impossible for those without sufficient strength or a way to counter the effect. Conversely, they can levitate themselves or other objects, essentially achieving flight or creating platforms in the air. One of the most visually impactful and destructive abilities of the Zushi no Mi is the power to summon meteors from outer space. By applying immense gravitational force, the user can pull these celestial bodies down to the planet, causing catastrophic damage over a wide area. Fujitora has demonstrated this multiple times, leveling city blocks and posing a significant threat to entire islands. Now when it comes to the second devil fruit, well, instead of taking a confirmed devil fruit, I'll be going with a speculative devil fruit of Emu. Now before you come at me, hear me out. There's a theory on the internet suggesting Emu might possess a sea fruit, which grants him or her control over the sea. This theory makes even more sense when you hear the Japanese name of this fruit, Umi no Mi. Now spell Emu backwards, what do you get? Umi, which literally means sea in Japanese. When you think about it more deeply, doesn't it fit the idea of why devil fruit users can't swim? The simplest version of this theory suggests Emu has an awakened devil fruit that grants control over the sea itself. This would be incredibly potent, as the sea is the ultimate weakness for all other devil fruit users. A villain who can manipulate the very element that cripples their opponents would possess an unprecedented advantage. Imagine a villain who could create tsunami, control sea currents, or even directly harm devil fruit users by manipulating the water around them. This power would make Emu a direct counter to many of the strongest characters in the stories, instantly elevating their threat level. So here, I'll be choosing Blackbeard's special ability with Fujitora's and Emu's devil fruits. Click on this video next where we made What If Luffy Was a Swordsman in One Piece from the start. Go on, check it out.